Ladies and gentlemen, if you own gold or silver, or if you have worked your whole life and put something aside and you are simply trying to protect it, then I need 11 minutes of your attention, because something is happening right now that is going to affect the value of your savings, and almost no one is explaining it to you in plain English. Let me start with where we stand this morning. Simply and clearly, gold is sitting right around $4,000 an ounce. It has slipped close to its lowest level since last November. And silver is holding just under $60. If you have been watching your gold and silver drift lower these past few weeks and feeling a knot in your stomach, wondering if you did something wrong, I want you to hear me say this first. You did not do anything wrong. And by the time we are finished, you are going to understand exactly why this is happening better than most of the so-called experts on television. Because here's the truth that nobody is telling you. What is happening to gold and silver right now is not random. It is not panic. It is not the end of anything. It is a machine, and that machine has a lever. And once I show you the lever, everything you've been confused about will suddenly make sense. And there is one more thing. There is a date coming. It is 9 days away. And on that date, a small group of people in Washington are going to sit around a table and make a decision that will move the value of the gold and silver in your home, up or down. I am going to tell you exactly what that date is, what they are going to decide, and what it means for you, so that when it arrives, you are not caught by surprise. Like everyone else, stay with me, because this is the part that matters most, and I am saving it for the end. But first, let me answer the question that I know is on your mind. Why is gold going down when the world is such a mess? Think about it. There is a war between the United States and Iran. Oil prices are climbing. There is uncertainty everywhere you look. And every single thing you've ever been taught tells you that when the world is frightening, gold goes up. Gold is a safe place. Gold is where people run when they are scared. So why, with all this fear in the world, is your gold going down? I am going to explain this, and I promise you it is simple once you see it, but you have to let me build it one piece at a time, because this is the piece that everyone gets wrong, and it is the piece that explains everything. Here's a secret. Gold does not really move on fear. Gold moves on interest rates. Let me say that again, because it is the most important sentence in this entire message. Gold moves on interest rates. Now let me explain why, in the plainest way I know how. Gold does not pay you anything. You hold a gold coin, and a year later, it is still just one gold coin. It does not pay you interest. It does not send you a check. It just sits there, holding its value. Now compare that to money in a savings account or a government bond. Right now, because interest rates are high, that bond pays you nearly 5% every year just for holding it. 5% guaranteed for doing nothing. So put yourself in the shoes of a big investor with millions of dollars. You have a choice. You can hold gold, which pays you nothing, or you can hold a government bond, which pays you 5%. When interest rates are high, that bond looks very tempting, doesn't it? Why hold gold that pays nothing when you can earn 5% safely? So the big money sells some gold and buys bonds. And when they sell gold, the price of gold goes down. That is the whole secret. When interest rates are high, gold struggles, because holding gold means giving up that 5%. When interest rates are low, gold shines, because there is no reward for holding cash instead. Now watch how this explains everything that is confusing you. Why is gold going down during a war? Because the war is pushing up the price of oil. And higher oil makes prices rise across the whole economy, which we call inflation. And when inflation is high, the people who control interest rates cannot lower them. They have to keep them high or even raise them to fight that inflation. And high interest rates, as you now know, are the one thing that holds gold down. So follow the chain with me slowly. War pushes up oil. Oil pushes up inflation. Inflation forces interest rates to stay high, and high interest rates push gold down. The war is not lifting your gold. The war is keeping interest rates high, and it is the high interest rates that are sitting on your gold, like a weight. Now you understand something that confuses almost everyone who owns precious metals. It was never really about fear. It was always about interest rates. And once you understand that, you understand the whole game, because it means the single most important question in the world for anyone who owns gold or silver is this: which way are interest rates going to go next, up? And gold stays under pressure down, and gold is set free. Now, I have to be honest with you, because you deserve honesty and not a sales pitch. In the short term right now, the pressure is real. Interest rates are high. The war is keeping oil up, and gold could drift lower still before this is over. I am not going to stand here and tell you the bottom is in and everything is fine tomorrow, because I do not know that, and no honest person does. Silver especially has been hit hard, down by roughly half from where it was in January, because silver is used in factories and electronics, so it gets hurt twice. Once by high interest rates and once by the worry that those rates will slow the economy down. If anyone tells you the pain is definitely over, do not trust them. In the near term, the wait is still there. That is the honest truth about the next few weeks. But now let me tell you the honest truth about the next few years, because they are two completely different stories. And this is where it becomes important. There is one force in the world so powerful that it will eventually decide which way interest rates go, no matter what anyone in Washington wants. And that force is debt. Listen carefully, because this is simple and it is enormous. The United States government owes about $39 trillion. And every single year, just to pay the interest on that debt, it now spends more than $1 trillion. Not to pay the debt back, just the interest, just to stand still. Now here's why that matters to your gold. Every time they raise interest rates to fight inflation, they also make that $39 trillion debt more expensive. The interest bill goes up. The government has to borrow even more just to pay it. And that cannot go on forever. There is a limit at some point. The debt becomes so expensive that they are forced to bring interest rates back down, whether they have beaten inflation or not, because the alternative is a disaster. And you already know what happens when interest rates come down. Gold is set free, the weight lifts. That is not a wild prediction. That is arithmetic. A country cannot pay 5% on $39 trillion forever. And the day they are forced to stop is the day gold stops being held down. Now, let me show you the most important thing of all. And it is not my opinion. It is what the smartest and most powerful buyers in the world are doing right now. Today, while ordinary people are nervous and selling, the Central Bank of China has bought gold for 20 months in a row, 20 months without stopping, including their biggest purchase in almost 3 years. And they made that purchase while the price was falling. They were buying while everyone else was afraid. And it is not just China. Regular families in China bought more physical gold coins and bars in the first 3 months of this year than in any period ever recorded. And when the World Gold Council asked the central banks of the world what they plan to do, nearly 9 out of 10 of them, 89%, said they expect to buy more gold in the coming year. Think about what that tells you. The most sophisticated financial institutions on earth, the ones that manage the savings of entire nations, are quietly buying gold while the price is down. They are not watching the scary headlines. They are looking at that $39 trillion debt, and they are doing exactly what you would expect wise people to do. They are buying the thing that cannot be printed, cannot be inflated away, and has protected people's wealth for 5,000 years. Even the big American banks are saying it now. Bank of America this week told its clients that this dip in the gold price is a chance to buy. And Fidelity, one of the largest investment firms in the world, just predicted that the gold bull market will return next year. So here's where we truly stand in the short term. High interest rates are holding gold down, and that is real. But in the long term, a mountain of debt will force those interest rates down, and the wisest buyers in the world are already preparing for that day. Now, let me give you that date I promised you, because this is what you need to watch. 9 days from now, on the 28th and 29th of this month, the people who control American interest rates, the Federal Reserve, are going to meet, and they are going to make a decision, right? Now, the experts are split almost perfectly down the middle. It is nearly a coin flip on whether they raise interest rates. Again, later this year, that uncertainty, that not knowing, is a big part of why gold is stuck right now. Markets hate not knowing. So here is what to watch for. In plain terms, if they signal that they are done raising rates, that the fight against inflation is winding down, that is good for your gold, and you may see it begin to lift. If they signal that more rate increases are coming, that is more short-term pressure, and gold may stay heavy a while longer. Either way, you will now understand what you are watching while everyone else just sees confusing headlines. And here's the one thing I want you to carry with you above everything else I have said tonight. Do not let a scary few weeks frighten you into a decision. You will regret for years. I have watched these markets for a long time, and I've seen it happen again and again. The people who lose are not the ones who hold through a rough patch. The people who lose are the ones who panic at the bottom, sell the thing they should have kept, and then watch it recover without them. The weight on gold today is temporary. It comes from interest rates, and interest rates will not stay this high forever because that debt will not allow it. The wisest, best informed buyers on the planet are using this exact moment to quietly add to what they own. You worked your whole life for what you have. You do not need to be a genius or a professional trader to protect it. You just need to understand the machine, and now you do. It is about interest rates, not fear. The debt will eventually force those rates down. And the biggest buyers in the world are stepping in while others step back. Before I go, I would truly like to hear from you, because I know many of you have lived through more of these cycles than I could ever teach. If you remember the 1970s when inflation ate away at people's savings, or if you remember any time when everyone was selling and it turned out to be exactly the wrong moment, please tell me about it in the comments below. Share what you learned, because there are people watching this tonight worried about their savings, and your experience from someone who actually lived it will help them more than anything I can say. I read every comment, and I mean that sincerely. And if this message helped you understand what is happening to your gold and silver,